Greetings everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Captain Brian. Today's YouTube video has got me back in that ever so famous ship of mine, the USS Fletcher. Now, as the battle gets underway, it's neighbors, it's domination match mode, and this is a tier 9 maximum battle. I haven't played World of Warships since this game almost 2 weeks ago. And this match is a pretty good example of why exactly I've been having such a horrid time with World of Warships, and one of the reasons why I've become so burned out on the game. I will, yes, eventually come back and continue playing it. There's no way I'm going to stay away for too long, but right now, a little bit of a break is absolutely necessary. Now, the battle situation has got my team with the destroyer advantage, having 3 destroyers to the enemy's 2, and having me as a top tier Fletcher player on top of that. My team also has the radar advantage, having 2 Missouris and a DM Donskoy. This means that we absolutely can go in and crush any of these enemy destroyers and cruisers with smoke. The enemy team only has 2 radar ships. They have a Chapayev and they have a Belfast. Now, normally the enemy team heads up towards the C cap point. That's usually the location that they go to based on the spawn patterns. So I've decided to take an opportunity and head down to the A cap point, where I don't expect to run into pretty much anybody except maybe a lone cruiser or possibly a lower tier destroyer. I'm fairly confident that I can get up here, that I can take this cap point, and that if I get into trouble, then I can come back and break contact. Unfortunately, this is where things start to go wrong for me here at the beginning of this battle. As you can see there, friendly destroyer is up in the B cap point, and he's starting to spot a large group of ships that are headed this direction. This is actually highly unusual, and something I don't really see all that much of in the game is the enemy team having all of their ships come this way. I managed to secure the A cap point. That's going to give my team a little bit of an early points lead here, very important. I'm looking at getting torpedoes off at one of these battleships, and I get a first set off, and that's when the enemy Chapayev pops up. Now, he is well within his radar range, and now that he's being detected, and wasn't previously, he's probably well aware that somebody, more than likely at the A cap point, has spotted him, and so he pops his radar. So now I'm detected through radar. Worst case scenario, he's going to start shooting at me. Fortunately, he's shooting over me. I think he might have misjudged that there and thinks that I'm actually moving faster than I am with the speed boost, because he misses those shots, and these shots as well are going to go over me too. So he manages to miss me, and the radar drops off. I think I'm safe, and that's when the enemy Belfast pops up at a range of 7 kilometers, and so again, I am detected through radar as he pops that. So now I've got a significant issue as I'm trying to run away here. That Belfast and his radar are a serious problem. I get set on fire there, have my torpedoes knocked out, have my engines knocked out. I'm pretty much not having a good time. Set on fire again, torpedo tubes knocked out, guns knocked out. On fire, yeah. I popped my smoke screen there, mostly as a way to block line of sight once that radar is gone, because I figured I'd probably end up getting set on fire yet again, and that did in fact turn out to be the case. So I'm going to go ahead and turn around and get a set of torpedoes away at that Belfast, but kind of, sort of. I'm not entirely sure where he went because I popped that smoke screen, and that smoke screen again partly to conceal me as I try to run away. But as you can see there, in that engagement, I lost a lot of health, over half of my HP, and there really wasn't too much that I could do other than turn around and run away. If you find yourself fighting against radar cruisers and radar battleships, especially if you've got multiples headed your direction, the best thing you can do is effectively turn around, run away, try to get outside the range of that radar, try and get back to your friendly ships there so that they can provide you some support and take some heat away from you. Torpedoes head through that smoke screen there. Do miss him, of course, and now I'm looking to maybe get back in and get a little bit of revenge. My team currently up on points because we've managed to kill 3 of the enemy ships. The enemy is down to just 1 destroyer, but that is the Fletcher, very dangerous destroyer. And my team did manage to secure 2 caps. That's going to give us a significant advantage here right from the get-go, because that means that we had 2 caps earning double the points. Now the enemy team is in the process of capping the B cap point. I'm getting torpedoes out at that Belfast based off of where I think he's going. There's a friendly cruiser that's up there. I think it's a Miyoko or a Miyoko clone here, who is also getting torpedoes away at that Belfast. That Belfast manages to pop his radar yet again. I don't know how he manages to have his radar available so fast, but it is probably one of the most annoying things. I managed to motor on out and away from that. I think the range on that radar might be kind of short, or he might have popped it a little bit earlier, thinking maybe I was hiding in that smoke screen. Either way, managed to get away from him. No more radar detection. Now that Belfast manages to get hit by one of those torpedoes from the friendly cruiser. That makes him very low health. Of course, Belfast doesn't have a heal. So I start getting shots out. Had armor piercing loaded from the previous battle. Switched that over to high explosive. The question is, can I get him? Can I finish him off and take revenge for him causing me problems? Set him on fire, that'll probably do it, but just to make sure, finish him off with guns. So that's going to be no more radar for him. But there's still 1 radar cruiser left, and that cruiser is actually currently in the process of capping the capping the A cap point. And that's a bit of a problem for us, because it really does mean that I can't get up here and push up and challenge him, because he's got radar. He can go ahead and spot me. Enemy Kutuzov starts taking shots at me as well, and that Kutuzov really is an excellent DD hunter because he's got those 12 6-inch guns with rapid reload and a pretty good alpha damage on those high explosive shots. I'm looking at the situation, and this is when I notice that we have 3 AFK ships on my team. Not 1, not 2, but 3 AFK ships on the team. This is unfucking believable. That just is the epitome. Yes, and I said epitome because they don't deserve to get the correct pronunciation of epitome of the kind of teams I have been getting. Not only do we have 3 AFK ships on the team, but 2 of them are our radar ships, the Donskoy and 1 Missouri. That means that the enemy team has the radar advantage because 2 of our radar ships aren't even in the game. Unbelievable. So this means that my team is currently in the process of winning. Yes, winning because we are up on ships and because we have managed to secure the C cap point with a handicap of -3. Those ships might as well be on the enemy team because they're serving no useful purpose for my team at this point. Managed to connect a torpedo with that Kutuzov, and I'm looking to try and get more torpedoes, but I gotta keep that range, I gotta keep that distance. If he spots me, it could be a significant issue, especially given the amount of health I have. He can pretty much one-shot, one-salvo me. Now I get a set of torpedoes off there, kind of hoping that he'll turn into them, but he's still kind of sailing in the straight line there, so those are probably gonna miss. But he does turn last minute. I'm hoping I can nail him. That would be wonderful if I could do that. I have my smokescreen available. I get a set of torpedoes off again because he keeps maneuvering hard. He is taking shots in from multiple locations. I go ahead and I pop my smokescreen and I start firing at him. But see, I fired a little bit too early and I was detected there. That Kutuzov did see me briefly, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to get blind shots out into this smokescreen and hit me and nearly finish me off. Look at that. Leaves me with less than 1,000 health. That is the kind of RNGesus that I have been dealing with. Fires blind into the smokescreen based off of a last split second, saw me, and manages to nearly take me out of the game. Thanks, RNGesus. Now the enemy team, though, has another example of the kind of things that I have been dealing with in this game. You'll notice that the enemy team has an advantage, but they don't know that they have an advantage. Still though, they're being very passive. The battleship players aren't particularly interested in pushing up. Considering that there are only 2 ships at the A cap point, the enemy team had the overwhelming fleet superiority at the A cap point, and they could have easily pushed up, dominated the situation, focused down the Miyoko, and then focused down our Missouri, and taken advantage of the situation and basically wrecked us there. And then swept forward and come back and defended the B cap point, even going so far as to come down and spot those AFK ships, who would be easy pickings. But they didn't, and I've been seeing more and more top-tier battleship players especially being incredibly passive in their gameplay. Remember folks, whether you take damage or not, it's still going to cost you the same amount of money to take your ship into a battle. That's how the economy works. Now, I'm in a prime position to go ahead and try and secure the B cap point. I don't know where the enemy destroyer is, and given the amount of health I have left, and the fact that he's a Fletcher means I don't want to be spotted by him, because if I have to engage him, he's going to win outright. He only needs to hit me once with 1 shot. That's it. Me, even if I got the first shot off, there's no way I'm going to finish him off unless I get lucky enough to detonate him. But I know where that destroyer is. He's in the B cap point, because as it was capping there, you can see the cap progress stopped. Enemy Bismarck up here in the distance, and I know that there's a degrosser who's sailing around that island as well, so I'm going to go ahead and try and get shots off here at that Bismarck with torpedoes. And who knows, maybe I'll hit him, maybe I'll cause some flooding, hell, maybe I'll even detonate him. Wouldn't that be fun and engaging? The enemy team's Fletcher finally gets spotted, and our Donskoy finally gets into the game. I don't know where he was. I don't know what he was doing for the vast majority of this game, but he finally shows up, finally utilizes his radar, and gets up there into the B cap point. So we know where the Fletcher is. It makes me very happy because it tells me exactly where I need to avoid. And speaking of avoiding, I am getting kind of close to that Bismarck. I'm going to try and keep this island between him and myself. I did hit torpedoes on something though, and it wasn't the Bismarck, it was actually the degrosser. And that's going to come into play here in a little bit because you saw that those torpedoes caused flooding. And because those torpedoes caused flooding, that means that degrosser put that flooding out. And as I push up here and get myself turned around, I'm actually targeting the degrosser as my torpedoes come available, and not the Bismarck. And I'm not targeting the Bismarck because look where that lead indicator is on the replay here. It shows him basically pushing around that island towards friendly cruiser who's just sitting there contesting the cap basically, and I don't want to run the risk of hitting that friendly cruiser. Now I pop my smoke screen and I'm going to go ahead and start getting shots off at this Bismarck. Managed to set him on fire the first hit there. That degrosser on fire as well, and that fire going to continue to burn on him because of course he put the flooding out earlier. That's not my fire. I don't know whose fire that is, but that fire is going to combine with those torpedoes. I'm not sure if the degrosser has his hydroacoustic active. It might seem like he does because I managed to hit him with one other torpedo and again cause flooding, but not enough to actually finish him outright. Hit him with another torpedo and cause yet more flooding, and now he's basically flooding in 2 locations, and you can see the damage counter ticking up rapidly for me, and that's only partly from this Bismarck. Now I'm a little bit concerned that Bismarck's getting very close. He's basically moving to come in and run me out of the smoke screen. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to be very cautious about this. I'm going to leave my smoke screen away from him so that I'm not coming out of the smoke screen for his secondary gunners to spot me. I've got a set of torpedoes up here. Bismarck's on fire in multiple locations, so I'm hoping that a combination of my team, my fires, we can bring this guy down fast enough. Keeping the smoke screen between him and myself is effectively instant cover. I'm surprised he didn't have his hydroacoustic available to him. He takes a big hit there, and I managed to finish him off with a torpedo right there at the very end. And that's going to be the end of that Bismarck. Now it's just the Fletcher and the degrosser left. At this point, the enemy team has 2 caps, but they're very far down on points, and my team really does have the massive points advantage. The degrosser is somewhere over there. He's probably not got too much health left, and somewhere around here is that Fletcher, but we do have at least 2 radar ships now, finally, in the game. But you can see there, the Missouri and the Tirpitz never did join the battle. They are there. They aren't disconnected because the guns on the ships were pointing the direction that the camera would normally point. So they are there. They're just AFK. Moving in to secure the B cap point, the real question is, are we going to secure it before we cap out on points? And the answer is no. We are going to cap out on points. 133,000 damage done in that game. Not my best damage game, but considering the circumstances with 3 AFK ships and eating more than 50% of my health just on the first cap in the first 5 minutes of the game, I think I did pretty reasonably overall. However, not enough to be top of the team for XP earned. No, that honor goes to our only radar ship who actually did anything worth a damn. That's going to be the Missouri up there at well over 2,000 base XP. And there you can see the ships that were AFK for the longest, including the Donskoy there, only getting in at the very end. Pretty much bottom of the team with the 2 at the very bottom, 0 points. That's gotta suck for both of them. They're premium ships, but even premium ships who earn 0 XP, I'm pretty sure still ended up costing those guys money. Sucks to be you. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me in the channel, and I encourage you to do so, you can become my supporter on Patreon. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can send it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play various games live on Twitch, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. I'm your host, Captain Rye, signing off.